Hello, fellow comic book lovers, collectors, and aficionados. Vin Crew here with his much hyped and much promised Treasury Showcase, and gotta believe less anticipated. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do this in at least two videos. I'm hoping I can get it done in two vids. Got about 100 treasuries I want to try to get through here. I'm gonna First one will be on DC, and the second one will hopefully be Marvel and miscellaneous. So I want to get going here. I'm not going to be able to spend a lot of time on each book, but we will go from there. And I just want to preface that I am by no means an expert on treasuries. There are people out there that I would kill to have their knowledge on these types of books. Talking about AFTA Comics, ETA Nick, the Great Legend, Luther Manning, King Joe have all done treasury showcases that I'm aware of, and I would strongly suggest you check their videos out to supplement any knowledge that I am trying to give here. So let's get going here. So basically, as far as DC treasuries, they came out in like five different groups, and they're very confusing. They kind of overlap time wise. Their numbering isn't sequential, and they kind of overlap there too, so a little bit confusing. And to add that to that confusion, I'm going to actually start with the second group of treasuries of the DC era, which I think are a little easier and to get a feel for it. And these were the books that back in the 70s when I was 7, 8 years old, my father bought these, and they just blew my mind. Seeing my superheroes in large print like this was just absolutely incredible. And this first set of books, which are 9 of them, are called the Famous First Editions, and they do exactly that. They reprint comics that are famous first editions. For example, here's the first one, which came out in 1974. This is Action Comics, which obviously reprints the first appearance of Superman. Also in that year came the second one. This is actually, I do have a few original ones that I bought, or my father bought me, that I was able to salvage, but are just in horrible condition. This being one of those. But I love this, and I love them, and I will never get rid of them. Here in 1974, still we have Sensation Comics, first appearance of Wonder Woman. Still in 1974, Wiz Comics, first appearance of Captain Marvel. And what were great about these books too is that they reprinted everything exactly, like including the ads, the front cover, back cover were all exact reprints. Here's another original one of mine. This came out in 75, I think. Yeah, this started 75. This is Batman #1, Wonder Woman #1, and All-Star Comics #3, as well as Flash #1. Then it took until 1979 to put out the last issue of this, which was the Superman reprint. So there's the 9 famous first editions of the DC runs. Then the first set of books that DC put out of treasuries are probably the most recognizable. They're the original 32, as I call them. Of the 32, I have 23 of them. I have all of the Batman or the superheroes and whatnot. I don't own any of the Rudolphs and Bible and whatnot. If you'd like to see a complete collection of all 32, AFTA Comics did a great one of those. So, all right, here we are. The first one that came out was Shazam. This actually came out in 1973, and it is C. They always put the letter C in front of these. C21. This reprinted Captain Marvel Adventures 1968, 115, 121, Captain Marvel Jr. 11, Captain Marvel Family 85. This has a cover by C.C. Beck on it. And what's kind of neat about this is that they added, if you see this right here, original, in all the stories here, they added that word original, even on the cover here. And so that was obviously not when they printed the stories to begin with. And what's also pretty standard for these DC treasuries is that they did back cover dioramas. A lot of them were just reprints of the front cover. And then This book also happened to have some coloring pages, puzzles, and a pinup page. If I can find it here. Here we go. Beautiful pinup page here. Just, I mean, these are regular posters almost. Just unbelievable stuff when you're a 7, 8-year-old kid. Here's the next issue, House of Mystery. This came out, I believe, in 73 also. Yep, 1973. This is a Nick Cardy cover. It has stories by Neil Adams, Bernie Wrightson, Alex Toth, Sergio Aragonés, Wally Wood, Gil Kane, just to mention a few. It reprints House of Mysteries 175, 179, 180, 182, 186, and 202. There's also some original art in here by Sergio Aragonés here, as well as a 2-page Kane pinup by Bernie Wrightson. See if we can find that. I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Ain't that beautiful, huh? And here's the back cover. This one I don't think is a diorama. Yeah, it is a diorama again. So, all right. Going to have to just breeze through these pretty quickly here, so I apologize. Next one is Batman. What a gorgeous Neil Adams cover on this one. Came out also in 1974. This is C25. This reprints Batman 4, 14, 24, 221, as well as Detective 335, 355, and 404. There's How to Draw Batman. There's pinups by Carmine Infantino in here, as well as Murphy Anderson. And, of course, the applicable, I believe this one. No, I don't think this. Yeah, it does have a diorama on this one, too. All right. And let's see if we can find our Carmine. Oh, look at that Joker, huh? Murphy Anderson doing Joker, huh? And there's Carmine doing Batman. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Another Shazam was the next one. This came out in 1974 also. C27. They think this is a C.C. Beck cover, but they're not sure. This reprints Captain Marvel Adventures 25, 53, 121, and 127, as well as Captain Marvel Jr. 54, Marvel Family 2, 20, 21, and 82. So a lot of stories in these. There's puzzles in here and a photo feature of the 1941 movie special, as well as a pinup by Mac Raboy, I believe is how you pronounce it. Let's see if we can. Well, there's Mary Marvel right there. There's a Mary Marvel. I know Tom Ryan likes Mary Marvel. Look at that pinup. And there's a diorama. No, I mean, some of these do have some value, but to me, they're more just the intrinsic value of my childhood. Next one, still 1974. This is a Superman, and this also has a, well, actually, it's a cover by H.J. Ward, excuse me, who happened to be a pulp artist. And this was actually a picture that hung in the, they called them back then the National Periodical Publishers, which later became DC, back in the 40s. This book here reprints Action Comics 2229, Superman 60, 142, and 204. There's a 4-page tour of a proposed Superman theme park that never took place by Neil Adams in here too. There's the diorama. Let's see if we can find that. There's How to Draw Superman. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Ghosts came out, I think, still 1974. Yep. C32. This is a Nick Cardy cover. This reprints Ghosts 1, 3, and 6. There is actually new material in this one by Leo Dorfman and E.R. Cruz. Let's see what's on the back of this one here, if there's anything. Diorama again. All right, and then we have the first of the Christmas with the superhero specials. Came out in '74. This reprints Batman 239, Captain Marvel 69, Teen Titans 13, Action Comics 117, as well as an unpublished Angel and Ape Wally Wood art story in this. It's a Nick Hardy cover in this one. And this actually has a two-page 1975 calendar, as well as supervillains at Christmas on the back cover. Here is what the supervillains on Christmas look like. Let's see if we can find that calendar at all. And there's the centerfold calendar. All right, yet another Shazam. This is Jackson Bostwick, who actually was the star of the 70s Shazam show on CBS. Obviously a photo cover on that. There's puzzles in this, how to draw Shazam, the diorama. This reprints Captain Marvel Adventures 100, 129, 148, and Marvel Family 17. And here is, like I said, they usually reprinted the covers. The dioramas did towards the end there. All right, here's a cover I just love. This came out in 1975. This is C37. This has got a Jim Aparo cover, and it reprints Batman 8, 43, 45, World's Finest 3, as well as some Batman comic strips that were in the newspapers. This also has a map of the Batcave, as well as the different photos of the 1960s villains from the show on TV. Oh, I remember Catwoman had a crush on her. Sid Caesar's Joker. Penguin there. There's Batcave stuff. And the diorama. I always have to check those dioramas, make sure those weren't cut out, huh? All right. Next one here, Superman. This came out in 75 also. No, 74, excuse me. This is C38. This is a Kurt Swan cover. It also has Neil Adams pinup in here, and it reprints Superman 40, 48, 157, Action Comics 315 and 316. Let's see what we got here. There's the diorama, and there is a Neil Adams on Superman. All right. Next one up is The Secret Origins of Supervillains. Came out in 75. This is C39. This is a Dick Diagiorno cover. This is origin stories of Joker, Luther, Captain Cold, Terra Man. There's Neil Adams work in here, as well as pinups by Neil Adams and a diorama. It reprints Detectives 168, Adventure Comics 271, Showcase 8, Wiz Comics 15, and Superman 249. Here is the diorama on the back, and what they did here is this is what they meant by pinups. Before each story, Neil Adams would do one. Here's Captain Cold, and he did that throughout for every one of the villains. All right. Dick Tracy's up next here. Is this still 1975? Yep. This is a Chester Gould art, and what's interesting about this book is if you're a member, you're a fan of The Clash, the band The Clash. If you remember their video on MTV back in the 80s, the Rock the Casbah video, this actually was in that. And what this did is it reprinted the comic strips from the newspapers from between December 21st of 1943 through May 17 of 1944. And no diorama on this one here. All right. Ooh, one of my favorites. Super Friends, Alex Toth. This came out in 76, C41. This is a Alex Toth cover. However, Murphy Anderson touched up Superman's face. That is not Alex Toth work on Superman's face. This reprints Justice League of America 36 and 61, as well as an original Alex Toth story in here too. And the back here. And then we have the second Christmas with Superheroes, came out in 76, C43. It's a Neil, there's art in here by Neil Adams, Barry Wrightson, Simon, and Kirby, to name a few. What's interesting is that Captain Marvel Jr. was in the original advertisements for this book. However, they cut the story and cut him off the cover at the last minute or at printing time. This reprints Superman Christmas Special number 1, Batman 219, House of Mystery 191, Sensation Comics 14, as well as Adventure Comics 82. And there is the back. Not a lot of information on some of these here as far as like who did the covers on them and whatnot. If I know who they are, I let you know. If not, some of you can tell me maybe. 1976, C41. This reprints Detective 329 and 397, as well as Batman 31 and 83. The cover on this was done by Wally Fax, F-A-X, Fox, I'm not pronounced. And this was a reprint of a picture another picture that hung in the DC, at this point it was DC's receptionist hall for years. They used to think that this picture was done by John Wells, but later they did find out it was Wally, F-A-X. It has classic Batman pinups and Wayne Foundation, Batmobile, that sort of a thing. Here's the back cover. That one does not have a diorama. Look at that Batman, Batman and Robin. Can't waste a lot of time. Ooh, there we go. Batman's home, Wayne Foundation. Very cool. Can't find these right away. I'm not going to waste time as far as the centerfolds. The Secret Origins, more Secret Origins of Supervillains. This came out in 76 also, I believe. Yep, C45. It's covered by Dick Giordano. The back cover is a diorama. And there's also a 2-page wanted background kind of a thing of all 18 villains. It reprints Batman 62, Flash 105, Superboy 68, as well as Wonder Woman 6. And there's the diorama. And let's see if we can find. There's the wanteds. All right. Next one here is Justice League of America, 1976, I still think we're in. C46. It's a cover by Dick Giordano again. It's got work by Alex Toth. It includes reprints of JLA 24 and 34, as well as a 2-page pinup, including Zatanna on this one. And it also has the Justice Society as a back cover. Justice League front cover, Justice League Society, the back cover. And then here is... Here is that 2-page spread of all the Justice League. And there's Zatanna right there. So, love that. And I think Alex Toth might have done that 2-page spread. Don't quote me on that. Superman Salutes a Bicentennial. This obviously is in 1976. It's a Fred Ray cover. And what this does is it reprints Star Spangled Comics 121, 126, 127, More Fun Comics 170, and Tomahawk Comics 45. And the back cover of this is all the presidents up to 1976. So ends with Gerald Ford. All right, one of my personal favorites. This is the Superman Flash Race reprint. Came out in 76 still. This is C48. It's a cover by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Bob Oskner. This reprints the first two Superman Flash races, as well as has a 6-page Fortress of Solitude spread by Neil Adams, How to Draw Flash by Carmine Infantino, crossword puzzles, and a diorama in here. So make sure the crossword puzzles are not filled in. There's a diorama. There's How to Draw Flash by Carmine Infantino. And here is some of the Fortress of Solitude spreads by Neil Adams. So if you're a Neil Adams fan, lots of Neil Adams stuff in these DC Treasuries. All right, this one is one of my originals, so it's beat the heck. This came out in 76. This is C49. This is the Legion of Superheroes. It reprints the wedding of Bouncing Boy and Duo Damsel. So it reprints Adventure Comics 369 and 370. It does have a Legion headquarter as well as a diorama on here. And what's interesting is that the marriage was attended by John Jones as well as the Tornado Twins, which is Barry Allen's kids in the future. Let's see if I can find that. I don't know. I'm wasting my time on that one. Sorry. All right. Probably one of my other personal favorites. Batman came out in 77, I believe. Yep. C51. This reprints Batman 232, 242, 243, and 244. Neil Adams cover wraparound. And there's interviews with Neil Adams and whatnot. But just the cover is what sells this book, and this is one of the more sought after treasuries by far. Beautiful. All right, next up is the Best of DC. This came out in 77. It's C52. This reprints Batman 237, House of Mystery 201, Flash 148, Our Army at War 241, Tomahawk 136, and Superman 156. Obviously stories by Neil Adams, Jim Aparo, Alex Toth, and whatnot. Beautiful stuff. So this one I don't think has a diorama. Oh, no diorama. So, all right. Batman, Secret or Strangest Cases. This is 78, C59, 1978, C59. Stories by Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, Bernie Wrightson, Len Wein, Dick Diaggiorno, Herb Novik, to name a few. The cover is by Neil Adams, and it reprints Brave and the Bold 93, Swamp Thing 7, Batman 227, 250, and Detective 410. And here is the back cover. All right, and that's the last of the that set there of the original 32. Then what they did in 1978 through 79, they did another 7 issues, of which I own 5 of them. 2 of them are Rudolph, which I don't own those. And these are all original stories for the most part, and they call them the all-new collector's edition. The first one to come out was this one right here, Superman, Wonder Woman. This is 54, came out in 1977. It's a Jerry Conway and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez story, and just beautiful stuff in here. And obviously Superman and Wonder Woman do throw down in this pretty good. The next one to come out, this is one of my personal favorite covers, Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. Came out in 1977, number 55. It's an all-new story by Paul Levitz and Mike Grell. It's the marriage of Saturn Girl and Lightning Lad. There's a section of the Legion of Superhero origins and powers, as well as this gorgeous wraparound Mike Grell cover. Look at that, huh? If you're a Mike Grell and Legion of Superheroes fan like I am, oh my God, that was a no-brainer. And this is probably the number one most popular, most sought after, most pricey of all the treasuries. This came out in 1978. It's number 56. This is the Muhammad Ali Superman treasury. There is a Whitman version of this one you can be aware of, but it's been talked at by ad nauseum. If not, there's plenty of people that have written up many of articles solely on this treasury alone. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but just absolutely, if you're this should be in your collection regardless if you collect treasuries or not. The next one was Superman versus Shazam. Came out in 78. This is number 58. It's an original story by Gary Conway, Rick Buckler, and Dick Giordano. Beautiful stuff here. You got Supergirl. You've got Mary Marvel. Beautiful back cover there. Oh, some beautiful that cover there, huh? That spread page there, huh? Oh my gosh. You can't tell me if you're a 7-8-year-old kid that stuff wouldn't blow your mind. And the last one was Superman the movie. Came out in 79, I think. Yep, 79. I remember this is just basically all for the movie that came out at that time here. But I remember I was 14 at the time, yeah, and I having a massive crush on Valerie Perrine, and there's some pictures in here that take me back to my childhood, that's for sure. All right, okay, and now the next one were DC specials were the next set of books that came out. There were only 3 of them, and they all came out in 1981. And the first one to come out was this one here, the Superman versus Amazing Spider-Man. This came out obviously in 78. People claim this to be the first Marvel DC crossover. Technically, it's not. It's the first DC and Marvel characters a crossover. There is another crossover between Marvel and DC that have nothing to do with their characters that predate this one. It's a story by Ross Andrew, Gary Conway, Dick Giordano, as well as others. Just a great, great, great story. I own 2 copies of this one, and just beautiful stuff. The next one is The Fortress of Solitude, Superman and His Incredible Fortress of Solitude. This is original story by Roy Thomas and Ross Andrew. It's just a romp through his fortress. It kind of shows you what it's all about, the Fortress of Solitude. So it's a pretty cool book. Nice back cover on that. The art on some of the stuff is just so cool. All right, and then the last one out of these 3 sets was the Batman versus the Hulk. Came out in 78 also. This is basically the last of all the treasuries, and this has been reprinted in different formats as well. A lot of them have been reprinted in formats, but this is, like I said, the last of the classic DC treasuries. There's the Jokers in here, The Shaper of the Worlds. It's a story by Len Wein, Jose Garcia Lopez. And what's funny is that Batman does best the Hulk in this. But there's a Joker, Two-Face, the Leader, all in here. And there's the Joker right down there in the bottom there. So, all right. And then there was some miscellaneous ones that came out after this now, and which really is confusing. This one came out the same year as the first treasuries. This is Superman, The Amazing World of Superman. Came out in 1973. And what it does is it reprints Action Comics 210, Superman 170, Superboy 153, 161, and 169. There's also a new story by Nelson Bridwell, Carmine Infantino, and Murphy Anderson. What this was is there's a city in Illinois called Metropolis. It's a real city, and every year they celebrate. They have a Superman Day, and that still goes on to this day. This was at this time they were talking about building that Superman theme park that I spoke about earlier, and this was to kind of help corroborate that and celebrate it. And there's also How to Draw Superman, the Superman family portraits in here. There's Rogues Gallery. There's a poster in here, poster right there, but it's all black and white. and this back is the same as the front. Then we move into my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists, Alex Ross did a. This is Dan Jurgens and Alex Ross. Came out in 1999. It's a face-off with Galactus, and it's Fantastic Four and Superman. Then then came out Justice League of America: Heavens and Ladders. It's got a beautiful Brian Hitch cover, as well as the story by Brian Hitch too. In fact, a KMN Comics, I think, just featured this one. Then what happened in 1999, Alex Ross and Paul Dini approached DC with a series of treasuries that he had been wanting to do forever. And the first one that came out was Batman, and it's there's no word balloons in this. It's just all written text, so it's kind of hard to follow, but it's Superman, not Batman. But Peace on Earth, which kind of deals with world hunger. The next one that came out with is a Batman, and these are all just gorgeous Alex Ross covers. This one deals more with Bruce Wayne actually than with Batman. The next one is Shazam. This is basically Shazam doubting himself and how to make himself more relevant, and it's actually Billy Batson that does that. This one I just bought recently. This is the Wonder Woman Spirit of Truth one. Then came out a couple of Justice League ones. This one here is the first one, and this one was just more of like an advertisement. It's called The Secret Origins. It's like 2-page things of spreads of each of the heroes. And then lastly is this one right here, which is the JLA Liberty and Justice. And if you can, there's some splash pages in here that just are unbelievable. You've got Plastic Man in here. You've got Zatanna, Black Canary. All sorts of people are in here. And like I said, the art is just stunning in this stuff here. So I got to end this now. Look for part 2, which will be Marvel and Miscellaneous. So thank you for taking this journey with me. Vin Cruz signing off.